Hey there, and welcome to our latest episode of What's on the Horizon. I'm Lori Sharonbrock here with Chris Shooker of Digital Horizons. My burning question today is, how do you help homeowners keep from having too many apps? Like, I know what a Control 4 is supposed to do, but like, how do you keep it from this app and this puzzle and this? How do you help them?
Yeah, you hit it spot on. Something like Control 4 is primarily what we use. In today's day and age, every system that gets installed in a home has its own app, right? If you have thermostats, if you have audio, if you have a security system, if you have cameras, all of that stuff, the manufacturers make these apps to make things to give you the ability to access and operate, control, set up, configure, whatever. And so we deploy an automation system, and they come in a couple different flavors, but the one we use primarily is called Control 4. And it is intended to act as an umbrella. We really like designing systems that can operate on their own. So if something were to happen to Control 4, or the Control 4 part of the home, that those systems can exist on their own. But we're very selective in the systems that we install so that they can both operate on their own, but also under Control 4's umbrella. And there's way more products or systems that exist out there that can't do both than can. So we have to be really selective because we want redundancy in what we do. But also there's times when we install systems and not everything is in Control 4, because incorporating a system into Control 4 isn't always just an easy thing. Sometimes it takes installation or configuration time. Sometimes it takes coordination with other trades if we're not doing everything in the home. Sometimes it requires special software or licenses. And so there's times when we install a home technology system and not everything is under Control 4, and so then that redundancy becomes even more important. But what Control 4 is doing is it's giving that homeowner a single place to go for all of the technology in their home. And the neat thing that Control 4 has done, and why they've been so successful compared to some of their competitors, is they've standardized their user interface. And so why that's important is the experience that someone with a Control 4 system has is the same as their neighbor who has Control 4, or maybe for their other residents in Florida or Arizona, obviously speaking from people that live in Minnesota. And when they open Control 4 and maybe they have multiple homes, they get roughly the same experience between all of those places. Now, it does matter what someone like us does behind the scenes as a technology contractor. It doesn't just happen magically that Control 4 works. There's a lot of design and engineering and installation and configuration that goes into making Control 4 work flawlessly with all of those systems underneath it. But when someone uses Control 4 and they go to, for example, disarm the security system, nobody knows what brand of security they have. Nobody knows what brand of cameras they have. And if they have a home in multiple places and they have security and cameras in both, it looks the same to them regardless of where they are. And if we've done our job, then it functions the same. And so Control 4 is really good at corralling everything together. And Control 4 is a big enough brand that there's a lot of really smart people behind computers that are doing work to allow all of these other systems to exist within Control 4. And ultimately that makes our life easier to deploy that.
And I think something else that you guys do that probably helps alleviate some of that. So let's say I don't have that kind of system. I just have 4 different apps, one that does my blinds, one that does my lights, one that does the music, and one that does my TV. And you guys are able to like set a scene, right? Mm-hmm. So then that is one command, one scene that will put the blinds up, turn the music down, and the owner can do that at once rather than having to open up and do four
Right.
different apps and 4 different things, right?
Yeah. So Control 4 is it's just a coordinator. If it exists within Control 4, we can virtually make anything work together in a scene, some sort of favorite or something like that. We actually just finished a really neat project in our area where the entire basement of the home was a man cave. And there's 7 TVs, one of which is surround sound, and then there's also a golf simulator. In Control 4, all of the TVs are part of the system. All of the lighting is a part of the system. And so when he or anybody in the house goes downstairs, on one of the lighting keypads, we have presets. And you can just press one button and it puts the room into a mode of, okay, this is how I'm using it 90% of the time. And without diving too deep into this particular project, those 7 televisions can access any of up to 3 Apple TVs. And so there's a preset that sends one of the Apple TV's video to 3 of the TVs and then another Apple TV to 2. So when he turns it on, there's 3 different sports games playing automatically, if you will, and there's neon signs for all of the Minnesota sports teams that turn on. And the alternative to doing that, as you can imagine, think of walking around with 7 TV remotes. You know, in some cases, in this particular project, there's 3 TVs right next to each other. If you point a remote at it, 2 might turn on, the other one doesn't, and you press the button again, one turns off, the other 2 turn on. It's
Maddening to think about.
correct. So the Control 4 system just does all of that, and it's so cool to see it. Like I know what all of this stuff is capable of. We live and breathe this stuff, and that is just a prime example of. I remember watching him hit that button the first time. And just like a little kid, he was so giddy because throughout the whole project, the basement was his entertaining space for his family. He hosts clients and does business stuff down there. And he painted this picture, and we were able to, I think, deliver on it. And he was just tickled pink when everything came to life on that single button press. So it's fun to see.
That's, I think, what I love the most about the technology and what you guys do and how you bring that in is you listened to him. I imagine a lot of the work in and above the installation is that you listened and you were able to make a design that did what he wanted it to do. And you don't get that necessarily when you go to a box store, nothing against those, and pick this product and oh, I can do it myself. Can you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with off-the-shelf equipment, but for this level of automation and integration and control that is virtually seamless, you need a system like Control 4 to make it happen.
Yeah, that's I think is so amazing. And if you want to feel like a little kid when you come in and press a button and things just work, this is the team to talk to. So thank you for answering that question, and we'll see you guys next episode.